Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Hey, we've got some new Fender models to talk about. A few of them available in the US that you've probably heard of, but I want to talk about these new Japan exclusives first. Starting things off here, we have a Made in Japan Hybrid 2 Stratocaster in a limited run interestingly named SAKU-RABU-RST. It appears to already be sold out, but let's take a look at this thing. It's like just a pink burst Stratocaster. I dig it. It's not traditional in the slightest, but it's still pretty cool at the same time in like a hair metal type vibes, or you can buy it for your daughter. SAKU-RABU-RST is a certain crowd pleaser. And yes, I know it's Sakuraburst. I'm just busting you guys. SAKU-RABU's pretty cool though. It's named after the Naruto character that you can see right here on the screen. Nah, I'm just kidding you guys again. Sakura is Japanese for cherry blossom. So we're taking tributes from this beautiful tree's flowering. It's got a little bit of pink, it's got a little bit of white. Now I think you understand the design even more, so it's got some really cool elements in that aspect as well, but I kind of wish we could have had a matching headstock on this. I mean, I get it, it's like the trunk of the tree and these are the flowers. Like maybe they could have put like a decal or something on it right here or something right there. Maybe that would have took it a little bit too far over the top. But it's always fun to hypothesize things that they could have done. But that is a Japan exclusive for 2022. But how's our specs on this thing? Looks like we've got alder body, glossy finish with a satin finish on the back of the neck. Typical scale length 25.5, a middle of the road 9.5 inch fretboard radius, typical frets on this thing. Bone nut with 22 note makers. But hey, check out those pickups. Hybrid 2 custom voice single coils. And it ships in a gig bag. Now, if you want one of these really badly, you gotta remember, this is part of their Fender online shop, Fender shop, and Mikigaki America Mira only. That means Japan exclusive actually means Japan exclusive here. This didn't actually go out to any dealers. It's only sold by Fender.com, essentially. So, unless you know someone in Japan, like me, you're not able to get one of these. I was on the fence. I mean, the price isn't terrible, but currently they're sold out. I'm not sure if there's gonna be any more. But I do have a forwarding service if you'd like to sponsor a review and demo of this guitar and then get it. But next up, under similar circumstances here, we have the return of the Made in Japan art canvas Esquire, this time being called Heat Her Brown. So at first I was like, Heather Brown? What? This looks more like ocean weather type things going on with the land. But then I saw it down here. Oh, H. Brown. Likely the signature of the artist who did this. Now, if you haven't paid attention to these Fender exclusive guitars before, they've done this before. There was one that kind of had like an interesting guy painted on it, but the one I wanted to document was actually just called the Canvas Caster because it was just completely blank. Like you were supposed to paint it. It was a blank canvas. It was just the wood. It was one of the silliest ideas I've ever heard of, but I dug it. The only thing that stopped me from documenting one of those was the price, because, you know, it was kind of expensive for no fancy finish at all. So this is, you know, it's interesting. Esquire format, so you don't have any pick guard or anything, so you can appreciate the artwork that's on this. But it looks like they still left the toggle switch and all that on here, so maybe you can get some various tones out of that one pickup. But it's kind of quirky. The headstock just says Esquire. Looks like maybe a few of these were birthed in late 2021, part of Fender's 75th anniversary celebration there. And then the back, it's just natural, so you can paint it up even more if you want to. But that's how the original Canvas Caster looked like. So maybe not for everybody, but I think that's roughly like $1,400 US or so. A nice art piece, so to say. But as far as specs, nice ash body. We've got satin poly finish on the body. Ooh, satin, interesting choice. I think I would have preferred gloss. But a U-shaped neck with a straight up rosewood fretboard, 9.45 inch radius. Never heard of that. I've heard 9.5 for Fender, but not 9.45. That's cool. Only 21 frets, still a bone nut. But okay, that's why this one's a little bit more expensive. You got American electronics in it, the 58 single coil tele. And okay, they tell us about the controls. So typical bridge position gives you the tone control off. Position 2, the tone control is on. And then position 3, you've got a treble roll off. So it takes the tone pot in and out of the circuit, it seems, and another selection for the treble roll off. You can check out this review of an Esquire if you need to learn more. It's been a while since I've had one. But hey, this is big news. It actually comes with a hard shell case. A lot of these Made in Japan guitars do not come in a case. If you're new to these exclusives, they've got a few other ones that have actually been out for a while. Like check out the Neon series. Basically, they just took like the Fender lead style guitars and then turned them into Stratocasters that are a little bit higher end. I really like the roasted maple neck offerings that they have on some of these. And we talked about this Made in Japan Supersonic. I still have the two other colors I reviewed in this episode. That's an exclusive one that wasn't out at that point in time. But I think the only other new one is this. I don't remember talking about this before, a Telecaster Custom in limited run honey yellow. I just kind of dig it. Like, it's not so far in your face, super bright yellow. It's nice and subdued, and you've got that pickguard really stealing the show, and it looks great over top of that yellow body because it kind of accents some of these other areas. Witch hat knobs on this thing, wide-range humbucker in the neck, regular tele in the bridge. Looks like a matching headstock. It's either that or the wood they used on that neck is just really, really yellow. But I'm betting that's a painted cap looking at the back of the neck right here. But hey, look at that, 3-bolt neck just like a 70s one. This thing's a pretty cool tribute, I like it. Also note the Fender branding on the pickup. But how's our specs? Alder body, gloss finish, satin back of the neck, U-shape, 22 frets, bone nut, 9.5-inch fretboard radius, regular scale length, though just a basic single coil in the bridge. But we also have a new Fender Japan, like not super limited only to Japan. Like these are only for sale in Japan, but if you know a dealer in Japan, you can potentially get one to other countries. It's a new MIJ Junior Collection. I think people are gonna freak out over these things. So when you normally think mini guitar, you're thinking like what, 18 to 21-inch scale lengths. They're a little bit too small. They're really great for children. You know, Galeri makes them and so do a few other companies. But a while back ago, Fender actually made just slightly reduced scale length like jazz basses. And I've had people looking for these things and asking me to hunt them down. But here they've gone and reissued it, offered them in 100 million different colors, and they brought guitars into the match. You've got Jazz Masters, you've got the J Bass, you've got the Stratocasters, you've got a Jazz Master, and the Telecaster. So as I was just telling you, they made these things just slightly smaller scale length, but not too ridiculously small. So what does that mean for this bass? Typically a jazz bass is 34 inches. That's a full scale length. But these guys have knocked out 4 inches, so it's only 30 inches. It's got 19 frets with a bone nut, modern C neck profile shape, so it's shrunken down just enough for people that have smaller hands, but not too far to make the thing so unstable, and without sacrificing any of the looks. I mean, this thing still looks pretty convincing. Like, it's not overly minified, like Fender just recently released for us, like the Esquire mini series, that's what I'm talking about. But this one, we've got a 3-tone sunburst, got satin Daphne blue, straight up ebony, satin vintage white, which we were looking at earlier, satin surf green, which looks pretty darn good, and satin shell pink, yeah. And after conversion, you know, around 1100 US. So once you add in shipping fees and everything, you're probably looking around 1600 USD, give or take, which might seem kind of expensive, but these are a very niche thing. Some people like the shorter scale basses, so to get the Fender offering on that is fantastic. So here we go, Jazz Master. These guys are typically 25.5 inches, but this doesn't look too half bad at 24 inches. Like, take it from my perspective, I play Gibson guitars a lot. That's 24 3/4 inch scale lengths. That's a little less than an inch shorter than a Gibson length. So if you've never liked a Jazz Master before because the scale length is just a bit too much, you can shrink it down just a little bit and it still looks pretty darn good. They've got the burst on the front and the back, and I'm just impressed they're not skimping on the colors. This also has a 3-color sunburst, a satin Daphne blue, a vintage white, a surf green, a black with maple fretboard, ooh, and shell pink with maple. The same thing is true on the Stratocaster side of things. It's also 24 inches. Being offered in 3-color sunburst, satin Daphne blue, satin vintage white. Yeah, seems familiar, right? Surf green. They're pretty much all the same colors with the same variations. That's like a tiny blackie Strat, you know, Eric Clapton. And we also get the shell pink, but a special one for this one. They've got Arctic white. That's pretty sweet. But here's our Telecaster, also done up in 24 inches and being offered in all the same colors as we saw on the other ones. This one has to be one of my favorites. The surf green's not too bad. But oh, butterscotch blonde. The other ones didn't get that, but of course you need that on a Telecaster. And you can also get your pink and your Arctic white. So it seems like these things are still available. So if anybody wants to sponsor this review and demo through the New Guitar Day program / international forwarding, feel free to reach out to me on my website or on my email, austin@troglysguitarshow.com. And if not, I might just pick one of these up myself because I think I've sold myself on them. Because when somebody first sent me a link to these, I thought, Junior Collection, it's just like a Fender branded version of those Esquires. No, this is just slightly reduced scale length, just like how I love the baritone guitars that are just slightly extended scale lengths. But now onto the USA releases. So Fender recently just came out with this Player Plus Meteora HH. We've got a 3-color sunburst on it. We've got Bel Air Blue, which I'm still not really digging the fade finishes. We've got a fantastic Cosmic Jade. And then we've got Silverburst, which everybody's losing their minds over. So when the Meteora first came out, it looked like this. It was like a modified weird space tele, and I thought that was cool. And I hate to say it, but I think we've strayed too far from the original design. Like, I can't wait for a cheaper actual Meteora, exactly the same way as that original run back in 2018 comes out, because those original ones are starting to get expensive. So they used to be tele inspired, right? But this one, it's got humbuckers. Now we've got a Strat trem system on it. They've changed up our pick guard. I don't know, on first impressions, this one just doesn't exactly do it for me, but if somebody wants to do a new Guitar Day purchase to get it reviewed on the show, sure, I'll do it because I'm a big fan of, you gotta try it before you knock it. I don't care what color it is, as long as it's not Bel Air blue. Boo! But what's really fascinating is they came out with an active Meteora bass. I think that's the first time we've seen the Meteora bass. It's kind of cool in this format. I dig it. It looks like they did their Tequila Sunrise over here with the Bel Air blue on the guitar version, but I think the Opal Spark looks pretty good. But sadly, we do not have any maple fretboards. But a lot of people want me to review this because of the unique Fireball pickups that they've put in here. The same is true on the guitar one, so you might have to check it out just for that. So as far as specs, you can check those out right here for the guitar, because it looks like, oh man, they're even fancy with the S1 switches. And the basses have the active 3-band EQ passive active toggle stuff going on. Okay. I mean, it seems like it's a pretty highly spec'd out bass. And then lastly, I've got a little bit of Gibson flair for you guys. So there's the exclusive collection that Gibson does. They just recently introduced the 70s Flying V exclusive. Do you guys remember seeing this before? That's right, this is that leaked Flying V that we saw almost a year ago. It took them that long to make it happen. You can check this out in this video, where the dealer that this person bought a Flying V tribute in olive drab finish accidentally got sent one of these. I thought it was an abandoned idea, but it turns out to be real, and it is now $2,200. However, their description is very wrong on this, because it says available in olive drab gloss with matching headstock. Except for the stock photo definitely doesn't show a matching green headstock, and I had somebody send me a photo of the one that they had purchased, and it didn't have the matching headstock. It looked like the stock photos. But alright, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Reach out to me if you're interested in sponsoring any of these reviews, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.